this chapter, we're going to learn a lot about both motivation and goals for sustained resilience, sustained well-being, sustained performance. So in this video in particular, we want to start out by coming back to the idea of values along with motivation and goals. So this will be review. We want to remind you that these three concepts are distinct from one another, but at the same time, ideally, they'll all be in alignment. That's where we're going to get the most juice out of each idea or concept or experience when it comes to consistent performance, satisfaction, well-being, perseverance, etc. So if you already watched this video in chapter 2, feel free to move forward, but it is important. It is worth reviewing. After talking with his coach, Jamal realized that he had lost sight of some of his values along this journey toward being recruited. He had been so focused on winning that he forgot why he loved soccer in the first place. He took some time to reflect on his values and found that he really does value personal growth, discipline, perseverance. So with those values in mind, he started to shift his focus from just winning all the time to improving his skills, enjoying the process, and becoming more immersed. Likewise, Becky had always been a driven tennis player. She was determined to be the best. She spent countless hours training, attending practices, pushing herself to her limits. And while she loved tennis, she also found that she was becoming increasingly anxious and stressed. After Becky talked with her coach, she realized her motivation for playing tennis had become largely extrinsic. She was no longer playing for love of the game, but rather the external recognition and rewards that came with winning. With this realization, Becky decided to shift her focus more towards intrinsic by reflecting on some of her values. Values are individual beliefs and principles that guide behavior towards meaningful choices, purposeful action, even in the face of difficult emotion or challenges. By understanding your values, you can identify what is important and use that knowledge to guide decision-making and behavior. Motivation refers to the driving force that moves you toward a particular goal or objective. Typically, two types of motivation: extrinsic, intrinsic. Extrinsic from external rewards, intrinsic, driven by personal values and passions. So there's your values motivation connection. Now, the goals are closely linked to values and motivation. They serve as a means for expressing those values, right? And they can act as a source of motivation. Bunch of different types of goals. We'll get into it more throughout the program. For now, we want to understand that ideally our values, our motivations, and our goals are closely aligned.